Hello student, welcome to my YouTube channel, lecture number 2 of electric flux. So please make sure you have watched lecture number 1 of electric flux. In first lecture, I have discussed about electric flux, what is electric flux and Gauss theorem. Now in this video, I will discuss about application of Gauss theorem. So let's start it. Electric field intensity due to a infinitely long straight charge wire. So for this, consider a infinitely long straight wire with uniform linear charge density. You have already learned about it. Uniform charge density Q upon L, unit coulomb per meter. So let C be a point at a distance R from this charge line, at which electric field is to be determined. For this, consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface as is shown in figure. Clear? Cylindrical surface of length L. This is the length L. We have to find electric field intensity. So at any point on its curved surface, the electric field is constant. Electric field is constant in magnitude and points radially outward. Radially outward because charge plus Q is enclosed within this surface. Clear? So hence E and D are parallel. In this surface, D, S and E are parallel. So angle theta is equals to 0 degree and cos theta, that means cos 0 equals to 1. Clear? So at the end of Gaussian surface E and ds, at the end, at this point, end of the Gaussian surface E and ds both are perpendicular to each other. That means theta is 90 degree. At A point and at B point, theta is 90 degree. Since ds and E both are perpendicular to each other, hence flux through these two ends is 0. Clear? Now applying Gauss theorem. Gauss theorem, surface integral of E and ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. Okay? So charge enclosed within the Gaussian surface is Q equals to lambda L. We have already know about it. Clear? So electric flux through the curved surface is given by E ds equals to E ds. That means E into 2 pi RL. Here 2 pi RL is the area enclosed in cylindrical surface. Clear? So now we write this equation like this. Total electric flux passing through this surface is given by ED as equals to E dot ds at point A, at point B E dot ds, at point C integral E dot ds. Clear? So we have already discussed electric flux passing through surface A and B is 0 because E and D both are perpendicular to each other. So cos 90 is 0, surface through the surface electric flux is also 0. We have already electric flux passing through surface C, so which is given by E into 2 pi RL. As have now, so from Gauss theorem, Q upon epsilon naught equals to lambda L upon epsilon naught. Clear? Okay. So put this value in our equation. E into 2 pi r L equals to lambda L upon epsilon naught. So on solving, we found that E equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught 2 lambda upon R. This is the derivation of the electric field due to a infinitely long straight uniformly charged wire. I hope this is clear to you. Vector form of this equation is given by this. So direction of electric field intensity is radially outward from the positive line charge. For negative line charge, it will be radially inward. We have already discussed on this topic. So now note, here the electric field intensity is independent of the size of the Gaussian surface constructed. It depends only on the distance of a point of consideration. That is, the Gaussian surface should contain the point of consideration. Clear? So now let's start second theorem. Second application of this theorem: electric field due to uniformly charged infinite plane sheet. Okay, so for this, consider an infinitely large thin plane sheet of charge within uniform surface charge density sigma. Sigma is the surface charge density. We have already discussed on this topic. Sigma equals to Q upon A, Coulomb per meter square. So here sigma is surface charge density. Let 3 points A, B and C, where we have to find the electric field. For this, let P be a point, let C be a point at a distance R from the sheet. Clear? So we consider a cylindrical Gaussian surface as shown in figure. Surface of cross-sectional area A. Clear? Cross-sectional area S. So the cylindrical cuts through the sheet and enclosed a charge Q equals to sigma A. As I told you, Q equals to sigma A. Okay, within it. So at the plane end, E and DS, from figure C, E and DS at point A and at point B. E and DS both are parallel. Here E and DS both are in the same direction. So angle between E and DS is 0 degree. Cos 0 is 1. Clear? So E dot ds from these two surface, that is flux from these two surface, will be E into S. Okay? Now, and from point C, we see that E and ds both are perpendicular to each other. That means theta is 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees. So cos 90 is 0. Flux passing through this surface will be 0. Okay. Now applying Gauss theorem. We know that what is Gauss theorem? Gauss theorem is total flux passing through the surface is given by Q upon epsilon naught. So write this formula here. Phi E equals to surface integral E dot ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. Okay, call this equation number 1. So we have to find the total flux passing through this surface. So E dot ds equals to flux passing through A, flux passing through B, and then flux passing through C. Okay, so we have already proved that flux passing through E, A and B is given by E into ds, and flux passing through C is 0 because E and ds are perpendicular to each other. There's a theta between E and ds is 90 degrees. So cos 90 is 0. Okay. So these two flux will be added. So after adding, we got flux equals to 2 surface integral E dot ds. Okay, E into ds. Clear? So now take 2E and now ds. We can write this equation as. So we know 2E or ds is area of the cylindrical surface. So we know the area of cylindrical surface is given by pi r square. Okay, ds is pi r square. So on solving, we can write it 2e pi r square. Okay, so call this equation 2. This is, we can write this equation 2. Now from equation 1 and 2, we find from equation 1 and 2. Equation 1 was, we can write this equation. Sorry. Equation 1 is Q upon epsilon naught is given by, from figure, now from equation first, we found that Q upon epsilon naught equals to Q upon epsilon naught equals to 2e into pi r square. Okay, 2e into pi r square. We can write this equation as 2 pi 2e equal 2 into pi r square equals to sigma pi r square upon epsilon. Okay. Now on solving, we found that E equals to sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. And in vector form, we can write this equation like this. Okay. So I think this point is clear to you. Now find the direction of this. So the direction of electric field intensity is normal to the plane and away from the positive charge distribution. We have already noted. For negative charge distribution, it will be towards the plane. Now there is something to note. Note, electric field intensity is independent of the size of the Gaussian surface constructed. It does not depend on the size of the Gaussian surface. Okay? It neither depends on the distance of a point of consideration or nor the radius of the cylindrical surface, as you saw in this equation. Clear? This one. It does not depend on the distance. If the thin plane sheet is, if the plane sheet is thick, then the charge distribution will be available on both the sides. So the charge enclosed within the Gaussian surface will be twice as before. So it will be sigma upon epsilon naught. Okay. Now third is electric field intensity due to two parallel long thin plane sheet. Okay. So for this, draw a two plane sheet. Consider a two plane sheet. Both are positively charged, which are kept at some distance with each other. Okay. So from figure 1, this one, from figure, this is the case first of two sheets. From figure, we found that electric field of this plate is in this direction, which is E1, and electric field of this plate is in this direction, which is E2. Okay. So from figure, we have to find the electric field intensity 3 points. Region 1, this is region 2, and region 3. Okay, first find the electric field of region 1. Electric field of region 1, that means we can call this A point, we can call this B point, and we can call this C points. We have to find the electric field all these 3 points. Okay. So for point A, let's draw the electric field direction due to both plates. Clear? So at point A, electric field due to plate E1 is in this direction, and due to plate this is also in this direction. So electric field, that is net electric field at point A, will be the sum of electric field due to two plates, that which can be written as equals to E1 plus E2. We have already discussed in previous electric field due to a thin sheet is given by sigma upon 2 epsilon naught. So sigma 1 is electric field, sigma 1 upon 2 epsilon naught of electric field E1, and sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon naught of electric field second plate. Clear? So on adding these two plates, electric field, we found that equals to sigma 1 plus sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon naught. This is the electric field at A point. Okay. Now find the electric field at B point. This we call B. So here electric field due to plate 1 is this direction. Sorry. Electric field of plate 1 is this direction, and electric field of plate 2 is in this direction. Okay. So net electric field at B will be equals to E1 minus E2. Okay. Direction of net electric field will be plate 1 to plate 2, since sigma 1 is greater than sigma 2. Okay. So on solving, we found that electric field at point B is given by sigma 1 minus sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon. Now, electric field at point C. So electric field due to plate 1 is in the direction this, and electric field due to plate 2 is also in the same direction. Okay, so both will be in same direction. So the electric field at point C will be equals to the sum of electric field of the two plates. So we can add these two electric field, and we found sigma 1 plus sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon. Okay. And case second, we have two plates. One plate is positively charged and other plate is negatively charged, which are kept at some distance with each other. So we have to find the electric field in three regions A, B, and C, as we did in previous derivation. Okay, we can call this A point, this is B point between the plates, and this is C point. Okay, so for solving this, first draw the electric field lines direction. So for the region 1, electric field direction of plate 1 is in this direction, and plate 2 is in opposite direction, inverse. inward direction due to negative charge. So net electric field of region 1 will be equals to the E1 minus E2. Clear? So now for the values of electric field of the plate, we found that E equals to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon. I think this is clear to you. Now find the electric field at point P. So draw the direction of electric field. For this, electric field due to plate 1 is in this direction and electric field plate 2, that means due to negative charge is also in this direction. So net electric field in region 2 at point B will be equals to E1 plus E2. Okay. So now put the values of electric field due to these two plates, we found that E equals to sigma 1 plus sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon naught. Clear? Okay. Now we have to find the electric field at point C, which is region 3rd. So draw the electric field direction. So for first plate, electric field direction will be in this direction, and for second plate, it will be opposite direction. So net electric field of region 3rd at point C will be equals to E1 minus E2. Clear? So E equals to sigma 1 minus sigma 2 upon 2 epsilon naught. And third point of this derivation is if the surface charge density of both plates are same. Clear? Which we call sigma. Sigma is the sigma is the surface charge density of positive plate and minus sigma is the surface charge density of negative plate. These two plates are kept some distance as in before. So we have to find the electric field in region 1, in region 2 and also in region 3. So for solving this, first we have to draw the electric field lines direction. For first region, electric field direction due to first plate, that is positive plate, which is given by in this direction, and due to negative plates in opposite direction. So electric field in region 1 will be equals to E1 minus E2. Here sigma is same both places, so electric field will be 0 in region 1 and electric field also will be 0 in region 2. And electric field for electric field will be 0 of region 3rd. And electric field for region 2 is given by E1 plus E2. Since electric field due to both plate will be in same direction. So E1 plus E2 equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. Okay, so I think this is clear to you. So this was something about electric field due to charge infinite plane sheet. So next is electric field intensity due to uniformly charged thin spherical cell. We have to find electric field due to charged thin spherical cell. So first we have to draw a spherical cell. Consider a spherical cell of radius capital R and center O. Let Q be the charge distributed uniformly over its surface. Plus B charge is uniformly distributed over the surface here. Clear? Okay. Now let P be the point. Here P is the point at a distance small r, where electric field is determined. So for this, consider a small element of the cell and draw a spherical surface with radius small r. This is the spherical surface given in the figure. Okay. Now, from figure we see that D as that is aerial vector and electric field, both are in same direction. So the angle between electric field and electric field and aerial vector is 0. So cos 0 equals to 1. So from Gauss law, we know that phi equals to E ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. Okay. So we can write this equation phi E equals to E ds Q upon epsilon naught. Now we can write this equation phi E equals to E integral ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. We know the value of integration ds equals to 4 pi r square. Here 4 pi r square the area of the sphere. Okay. So E into 4 pi r square equals to Q upon epsilon naught. On solving, we found that E equals to Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught to r square. So this is the electric field due to a spherical space. And we know that Q equals to sigma into 4 pi r square. Here sigma is the surface charge density. Okay, so we can write the value of Q in this equation. We found that E equals to sigma capital R square upon epsilon naught small r square. Okay, so electric field due to uniformly charged in spherical cell at a point outside the cell is such as if the whole charge were concentrated at the center of the cell. Clear? Now we have to find the electric field on the surface of the cell. From figure, at the surface of the cell, here, at a distance capital R, consider a small element of the surface D as we found from figure ds and E both are in same direction. So E ds cos 0 will be equals to E ds. Clear? Okay. So apply Gauss theorem. Phi equals to surface integral E ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. So I'm solving phi equals to E surface integral ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. We already know the value of integration ds equals to 4 pi r square. ds equals to 4 pi r square. Okay. 4 pi r square is the area of this sphere. E into 4 pi r square equals to Q upon epsilon naught. On solving, E equals to Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Now write the value of charge. Q equals to sigma into 4 pi r square. So the value of E is equals to sigma upon epsilon naught. Clear? So electric field due to a uniformly charged thin spherical cell at a point on the surface of the cell is maximum. This is the point to be noted. Okay. And now third point of this is at the point inside the cell. We have to find the electric field inside the cell. For this, consider a small spherical element inside the cell at a distance r dash. Clear? For this, at a distance r dash here. Apply the Gauss theorem. EDS equals to Q upon epsilon naught. E and ds both are in same direction, so theta will be 0. So cos 0 is 1. Okay. So EDS equals to Q upon epsilon naught. Phi E equals to E surface integral ds equals to Q upon epsilon naught. On solving this equation, E equals to 0 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. 0 since on this surface there is no charge inside the spherical cell. So the electric field inside the spherical cell will be 0. This is the property E equals to 0. Inside is a cavity. It's used for electrostatic shielding. Clear? Okay, this is the graph between electric field at a point lying on the surface of the charged sphere. So from graph, we find that electric field is maximum at surface, and when we go inside the surface, electric field in decreases. At the center it's 0. Inside the surface it is 0, and outside the surface it is Q upon R square. Clear? So this is the electric field graph between distance and E. Maximum value of E due to charge sphere shows the variation of electric field E. Clear? This is the maximum value of electric field E at the surface of the sphere. So this was something about the electric flux. I think this topic is clear to you. Now let's start to solve some problems related to this topic. So first problem is a uniform electric field is given. E is AI plus BJ intersects the surface of the area. Okay. So now what is the flux through this area? The surface lies. First point is in YZ plane. Second point is in XZ plane, and third point is XY plane. For first, we have to find the electric flux in YZ plane. For YZ plane, the aerial vector will be in X direction. If the plane is parallel to the YZ plane, the aerial vector will be in X direction. So, angle between aerial vector and electric field will be equals to 0. Clear? So we can write E dot A equals to AI plus BJ and AI vector. So multiply these two quantities will be equals to, we already discussed about vector quantities, vector product. I dot I equals to J dot J equals to K dot K equals to 1, and I dot J, J dot K, and K dot I equals to 0. So from this equation, A small a I dot I equals to 1. A B J dot J will be equals to 0. So electric flux in the YZ plane will be A, small a and capital A. Multiplication of small a, capital A. Clear? Second point is in the XZ plane. So in the XZ plane, the aerial vector will be in J direction. So dot product of electric field and aerial vector will be given by electric field E dot aerial vector A J. Here this is the A J plus B J is electric field. So on solving this equation, it will be V A. Okay. For third, electric field is given this, and electric flux in XY plane. For XY plane, the aerial vector will be in K direction. So electric flux will be equals to 0. Since electric field and aerial vector will be perpendicular to each other, so there will be no electric field lines passing through the surface. Okay. Now second problem is a spherical cell of a radius 10 centimeter has a charge 2 into 10 raised power minus 6 coulomb distributed uniformly over its surface. Find the electric field inside the cell, just outside the cell, at a point 15 centimeter away from the center. So you have to write the formula as we have already discussed in derivation. Clear? Okay, let's start to solve this question. Inside the cell, we have already discussed electric field is 0. So we don't have to solve this inside the cell. Now for B point just outside the cell, so we know the formula E equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square. Here, this one. So put the value of charge and radius of the spherical cell. We found that electric field equals to 1.8 into 10 raised to the power 6 Newton per Coulomb. Clear? And last point of this question is at a point 15 centimeter away from the center. So use this formula E equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square. 15 centimeter away from the center. Formula is given. Okay. So apply this formula and solve this equation. We found that electric field will be 8 into 10 raised to the power 15 Newton per Coulomb. I think these two questions will be clear to you. So now solve this third question by yourself. Okay, now